guys, we're gonna do a end of week recap since it's already Thursday. I'm already here. I'm on the East Coast in New York, so it's already Thursday evening here. So we're gonna look pretty much at the end of the week recap for the Euro USD and take a look to see how the market's doing. Basically, on the last video I did, I was talking about this median level that we got down here and how strong the market was finding support here. So if I go back, let's go back to the user replay tool. We'll go back all the way down here since this is the first time, well, technically the second time that it tested this median level, or this pivotal level, I should say, since we started off the beginning of the year with this strong bounce here, and then we started bouncing over here. So I was saying, if you guys could go back and look at the other video, I was talking about this level being a very strong and important level. And I wasn't going to be convinced that we were going to go bearish or to the downside unless we started trading below 1055. Now, it got below that, but I'm talking about really trading below it. Like I'm talking about we getting into the 1.04s and staying down there, and we would have been looking to target this median level. If you guys can see this dotted line here, we have a short-term median level and a long-term median level. So initially I said, okay, we'll see if this market's going to look to continue to the downside, since we had this long-term median level up here and we bounced, but then we can't, this pretty much faded out. We got right back below it, and we had two strong tests right over here. If you see this long wick up here, we went up and we tested that level again. Now, if you guys remember, I had this this trend line. Let me just pull this up over here that I use for support and resistance levels. Right, I had a short going on over here, which stops at about 100 pips away, and then targeting the pivotal zone, which we did, right? This was a nice trade. But once we got down here, I said, okay, let's see if this market's going to give this level up, and then finally we can, take a short or look for a short and capitalize on the down move. Now, if we go forward, you'd see the market found a footing and pretty much retested this again, and it wouldn't give this up. So again, a very strong down move by the bears. Now, once we had this, I said, okay, this looks like it. The bears are looking like they really want to take this down. But again, my bias was still in a neutral area, because if we didn't trade down below, in the 1.04s, this was still not going to be, a convincing move to the downside. And of course, we started rallying up again. We even gapped up. Once we started gapping up, I said this market might try to fill this gap, or we might be looking for another short up here, a shorting opportunity. But once we got this long wick to the downside and we pushed back up, I thought maybe the bulls had some strength in them and we're going to try to continue up and push this up higher. But of course, this was a really, really massive down move. Like I said, it was almost or a little about a 2% move to the downside in one swift day. And once we got down here, I was considering, okay, let's start looking for maybe a possibility of going short, because it looked convincing. But as the day progressed, and if you go back to my other videos, I think it was the video about trend lines, you always want to wait for the end of the day, which again, it depends on your time zone. Again, I'm here in New York, so for me, the next candle that shows up is going to be 5 p.m. For those that look at a 24-hour clock, that is 1700 hours, right? So if the market hasn't, if it's still like the afternoon, or there's still like maybe 3 hours left, 4 hours left in the day, the market can make a move, a change during that late in the day or towards the end of the day. They could kind of like change the outlook of things. And this wick here, since I was looking for this to stay below this, but this wick here started pushing all the way back up, And again, it closed right at that pivotal zone. Now the pivotal zone in this chart is this blue line right over here, but it pushed all the way back up there. And I was like, okay, that doesn't look so good for the downside, but let's see what happens. Now, again, this whole zone was very important. So if we can move forward, once we started creeping up, started moving up, up, and then finally, we even gapped up to the downside, and this thing just kept on going higher to meet this next median level, long-term median level up here. So initially, this area should have definitely, I myself, I should have been buying. I should have been looking for multiple long positions, and the reason is because number one, we have this MACD hidden divergence. Again, if you look up hidden divergence, you'll find, what this means, or I call it trend continuation divergence because that's what it is. And it's basically when you have lows like this one over here, and I'll draw this out actually with a marker or a brush, right? You have a low here, and then you have either an equal low or you have a slightly higher low, right? Just like here, but the MACD and even the bottom here of the RSI was making significantly lower lows than its previous low. And I have this drawn out here. You can see the line that I have drawn out that couples with the price action up top. So once we started moving to the upside, I said, okay, let's see what happens up here at this median level. Okay, so we moved forward, and then we had a huge move. I think this was during FOMC. We had a big move to the upside. It was over 1%. And then we started pulling back. Again, it's after, I think I believe after Chairman Powell finishes his press conference about the state of the economy, unemployment, inflation, the market started pulling back, and we ended up below a 1% move, right? So now that we got over this, I'm like, okay, we closed this gap up here, but what about this gap? So I waited to see if we're going to get a pullback or if we were going to just continue higher and maybe test this high up here. So if we go forward, we had this big, strong wick up top. And then finally, we got back into this median level. Okay, this median zone, this long-term median zone. Once we got this little green candle here, I looked for longs. I forgot exactly what price it was, but looking for a long position, or I believe I took 2 long positions here. And now I'm looking to see if we can reach this median level, this short-term median level right up here, which would be about 1.11, 1.11. And we tried to reach that level over here, but the market pushed all the way back down to find support again. And then finally, the positions are looking okay for now, right? This is the current price action. So are we going to continue up to the upside up here, or are we going to fade out? Now, I'm leaning more to the upside right now. My positions are a little over 100 pips. I'm looking for about 200 pips and change. But if you look at the weekly chart, let's go back and take a look at the weekly. Okay. Now, if you've seen my other videos, I haven't really dove into it, but this here is a chart pattern. And if you can remember, one of the other videos I was talking about, there's 3 things that happens with these chart patterns, which they're called broadening. They're called broadening patterns, megaphone patterns, or inverse wedge patterns. So there's multiple ways or multiple names for these patterns, but they're very, very powerful when you're able to see what's coming ahead and what the direction of the market is going to make, right? These are very, very powerful patterns. And one of the books that I learned from quickly to let you guys know is called the Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns. That's where I learned this from. And it's actually very, very powerful. I've been trading it for many years now. But this is one of the things I was talking about. So once we get a big, bold move up above this trend line, one of three things are going to happen. And usually sometimes we'll get a swift move all the way up about 50% or sometimes 62%. Okay. Or we'll make a big move up, pull back, and then continue to the upside. Right. Or we'll head to the upside, pull back, make a fake move like if we're going to continue higher, but it makes a deeper move to the downside. In this case, I would have been looking for this long-term median level and short-term median level down by here by 1.01, and then continue the up move. Now, obviously, I was hoping that we would get a deeper dive. That way, we could look for more buying opportunities from a lower price. But obviously, it looks like it's going the route of this making the initial move, the pullback, and then at least to this short-term median level here, or we're going to extend up to the next long-term median level, which is up here by 1.15, and that would actually cover this gap right over here. Okay, so I'm holding those positions for now to see what we get, and I'm also going to show you how I look for these patterns in the stock market when I trade ETFs. I'll show you that quickly in just a second. But moving back to the daily chart on the Euro USD, you can see that it found a nice footing right over here at this level. And again, looking at the MACD making that hidden divergence and the RSI making that hidden divergence, this should have definitely been a strong buy. And right now it looks like it's headed in that direction. But we'll have to see what happens towards the end of the week. And going into next week, if we take a look at the calendar for Euro and USD, tomorrow we have the price index, core PCE price index, and then but next week, the first week of April, we've got unemployment claims, we've got unemployment rate, non-farm employment change, and this is basically non-farm NFP, right? We always have big movements on Fridays for NFP, so we'll have to look out for that to see what the market's looking to do during those economic numbers. So that's it for now when it comes to the Euro USD. That's what we're looking for right now. Positions are looking good, long positions, and if we're looking for this target up here, we still have another about 185 pips remaining. But right now we're sitting on 100 pips, and that should be okay. I'm going to move my stops up a little bit, and as long as we remain above this pullback area, which is about 1.08, or maybe even if you stay above 1.09, that's a good indication to stay long and just let the market ride out, and then we can collect our profits up here, and then reevaluate if the market's going to continue to this upside up here, and see if there's any type of divergences that we need to look out for, or any type of price action that's giving us a heads up that the market might be stalling out, right? So just quickly, just wanted to show you guys, I also look at the QQQ. You can see how that pattern works out as well. This is a weekly chart. If I go to the daily chart, you can see how I look for these broadening patterns, right? You see how these moves happen. Now, I use them in conjunction with divergences. You can see the MACD divergence playing out over here, and how the market pulls back, and then it finds support and it takes off. And the same thing kind of with the SPY. The patterns are not textbook, but once you've been doing it and looking for them and developed an eye for them, you can really see where the market's headed. And if you couple that with divergences, that just makes the projections and the forecasting that much more powerful, right? So that'll be that, and that'll be it for this week. Wasn't feeling well, so that's why I didn't make a midweek recap analysis that I like to do during Tuesday evenings, even Wednesday. But with that said, yeah, we'll look to see what happens for the remainder of the week, which is tomorrow, and then next week when we get non-farm payroll numbers, we'll see how the market leads up to that. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this this analysis. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, or you can visit me directly at internaltrader.com and with your questions or whatever help that you may need, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the night, and safe trading.